Hi, Billy Mays here with the awesome...
The human experience is a phenomena like no other. If you're watching this video, you are living a human life. And that life will contain stress, triumph, tribulation, love, hatred, comedy, sauciness, and everything in between. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the good, the bad, and the ugly in an attempt to learn what it truly means to be human. What separates us apart from every other life form on planet Earth? What does it mean to be one of our species? I know it's a bit early in the video, but if you enjoy this content, I kindly ask that you... Up first, we have the human form. We really do take these things for granted. Firstly, being able to stand up on our legs really helped us evolve back in the day. It made humans look scarier, they had height advantage, they could see in tall grass, all that stuff. The opposable thumb was potentially the most important part, as it allowed for grip, which let us make use of tools and projectiles. We had sweat for cooling us down, forward-facing eyes, vocal cords that allowed us to plan, organise, communicate and speak the truth. We must take things at face value, and a head that supports a huge and powerful brain. When you look at the animal kingdom, there's a lot that we don't do too well compared to. We don't have the best sight, we don't have the best smell, nor speed, muscle mass, we can't fly, we can't live underwater for very long, but we have everything we needed to survive back then, and in the modern day, flourish in comfort. The cycle of life. We too often forget the cycle of life, and while the human cycle is perhaps more intricate than the rest of the animal kingdom, it too is basic biology. We all pay attention to the first few, but you forget the later stages. Ideally, you're born, you are a child, you become a teenager, you grow into an adult, you have children of your own, you grow old, and eventually, you die. Life is oftentimes so chaotic that we never think of these last stages. We don't dig too deep. You should never dig too deep. You should never dig too deep. It won't remain 2021 forever. One day it will be the 2030s and then 2040s. One day it will be the 22nd century, and some of you, I'm sure, will be alive to see the 22nd century. I likely won't, but even if you make it there, one day you will die. Capitalism. I don't know about everyone who's watching this video, perhaps not everyone who is watching this will live inside a capitalist society, but the idea of trading is something that has been around in human society from the very beginning. From the dawn of civilization, we've seen trading and bargaining, bartering and haggling, and the best we've come up with so far is capitalism. Obviously not perfect, but this is the system used in most affluent countries in the world. Speaking of which, this video is sponsored by McDonald's. Speaking of society, we have party politics. Now, again, if you're living in a society like I am, you have politics, and with politics comes parties. They serve as an easy way to understand a candidate's policies. They act as shortcuts rather than anything else. They come in several flavours: Conservative, Labour, Liberal, Green, Carrot, Monster Raving Loony Party, Communist, Racist and Mango. Each of them have their advantages and disadvantages. It's in the political system whereby our society dictates how it wants to be run, how the bigger picture and the future will be going, and it's our job as people of voting age to take 10 minutes out of our day once every 4 or so years to vote. And usually about 50% of people can't even be asked to do that, going on to complain about how society works like a complete and utter twat. Digging too deep. I've said before, we're curious creatures by design. Sometimes, though, we go too far. We learn about a topic and carry on going deeper, deeper, deeper into the depths of a topic where no human should go. Ignorance is bliss and we should obey them. We shouldn't dig too deep into things. 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 We must take things at face value. We shouldn't dig too deep. Keep preoccupied with the insignificant. We shouldn't pay attention to those who do it. Leprosy is something that every young man will have to go through at some point in their lives. It's a chronic, progressive bacterial infection caused by the Mycobacterium leprae. While a big problem back in the day, in the 21st century, it shouldn't be too bad. It's very curable with treatments given on a regular basis to those impacted. If you catch leprosy, don't worry, those at the top have you covered. Pay attention to those who are allowed to live us life as normal. We mustn't pay attention to those who do it all. Praise those at the top. Binge drinker. It is human experience to be away from human experience. We don't like to live in reality. We'd rather be away from there. We turn to drinking, drugs, and anything else that we can get our hands on. Anything to change our mental state and get us out of these things. Help! These sorts of things might be uttered. It's important to ignore it. Ignore this.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
Your first Caesar salad is an important part of anyone's growth and development in the human species. If you're looking for a good Caesar salad, then there's no better place to get one than McDonald's. All new on the menu. This Caesar salad is grown with all natural plants. Let's take this at face value. For only the low price of $3.59, you can have all the Caesar salad you want. Thank you to good old-fashioned capitalism. You slave away, work at your job all day for us, and we give you the money to spend at our establishments. So get your Caesar salad now. It seeks wealth. The keep smokes afar. The visor looks melted now. You feel empty. The shrine feels different now. The oak survived the flame. As you flee, it digs up the mounds and gorges on the bones of your ancestor. You offer an eye, the wolf birds take flight. Now you truly see, and my God, you see all. Black blood streams from its maw, but goes all dark. You are content, and you see his halls. Is she there? Everything seems so desolate now, beyond recognition. You don the helmet once more and wonder. These were once men, and now they are like you. All have fallen and risen again, but her, she was absent. Not her. No. Anything. Not her. We dug too far. We dug deep into things. And now there's nowhere to go. We've gone too deep. We shouldn't have paid any attention to those who do it all, but we were aware. Ignorance is bliss, but human nature doomed us all. It's too late now. She was absent. She should have been there, but she wasn't. Where is she? Where am I? I let her go. But I have one thing. I have. The meaning of life. So, the meaning of life is... We shouldn't dig too deep into things. 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 We should not dig too deep into things. We should not dig too deep into things. We dug too deep.